Yo, what's going on, boys? Welcome back to another Vindasius Talk, guys. Just got back from a 7K run, still here in Tulum, Mexico, guys. It was a great run. Haven't been running as much as I should lately. I know I've been getting back into the run club and everything with QV, but no, it's been pretty good. Felt a lot better than I did the past couple times. It's funny, the more you guys do something, the better that you get, the more your body adapts, right? It's really amazing. But guys, the main focus for this video is going to be around towards something that I actually thought about when I was on a run. And it's really interesting that, if you guys are anything like myself, and this is going to be a video specifically for the guys who are on self-improvement, starting maybe their home service business, right? Looking to make their first 2K a day on the doors, right? If you guys do not know who I am, my name is Peyton Vindasius, 21 years old. And for the past 3 years, I ran a door-to-door window cleaning company with my brother. Did over 7 figures in that amount of time. Straight door-to-door, organic, no ads, no nothing like that. And we built this team of doing 6 figures a month at the height of it with the sales team and 16 passenger van or 15 passenger van and trailers and all this kind of stuff. And so if you guys want to know what we do now, we teach guys how to do the same through our coaching business, all that kind of stuff. But if you guys are, anything like me, you're on self-improvement and, you want to be better every single day, right? I had this thought when I was on the run I was just on. And if you guys, a lot of you guys watching this, you've probably never been to Tulum. You don't know really what it looks like and the roads, but I'll tell you guys, the roads here are really, really cool. And a lot of the times, the roads are not only just like, they only go up and down, and sometimes they're like really rocky and kind of, a bit unstable, and there's a bunch of like, potholes in the roads, and, there's loose gravel, and like a lot of the sidewalks are like cut up and everything. But what's really interesting about Tulum, especially with the roads and everything, is they actually build a lot of the sidewalks around a lot of the trees and the bushes. And so when you guys are, when I'm on my run, right, I gotta kind of, go back and forth between running on the sidewalk and running on the road, because it's a lot of times when I'm running on the sidewalk, there'll be these trees like literally built into the actual sidewalk, like multiple trees, and you got to kind of go around them all. And so sometimes it's better just to run on the road. And as I'm running today, I kind of thought how, this process, this journey that you are on, right, of getting into entrepreneurship, running your business, right, making your own income, getting better at a skill set, right, this journey, this path that you're on, right, it's not going to be straight. It's not going to be smooth. A lot of people like to think of success as this thing where, you slowly get more and more successful. That's not how it works whatsoever. It more so looks like this. It's pretty fucked up. But the whole point of this video is I want to talk to you guys about continually moving forward. Okay, moving the ball forward, moving the needle forward. And what I mean by this is a lot of times, especially when you guys are out there on the doors, and I'll speak directly to the door-to-door guys because this is going to help you guys a fuck ton, and that is the type of audience that my brother and I want to attract is, guys who want to start their business, go all in, knock door-to-door, the guys who do not want to be the normal, 9-to-5 employees who feel like they were made for something more. They want to go against, the normal traditional ways of, education, get a degree, all that bullshit, right? This video will be directly for those guys, right? Like a lot of our videos. So when you guys are out there, right? When you guys are on the doors, you guys are knocking, right? Again, this is a process. This is not something where you go out there, you sell like 5 in a row, and then boom, you're done. And it's not like that at all. It's these periods where sometimes you don't sell for maybe even a couple hours, maybe even half the day. Sometimes when you're first starting, you might even go all day without selling a single job, right? And if you're working one-to-one with my brother and I, that should frankly never happen, but it does for a lot of you guys watching this who do not have the skill set dialed in. And when you guys are out there, right, this is a process, this is not an event, and throughout this process, right, of you going out there, knocking doors, talking to people, giving out as many prices as possible, right, this is something where the people who do not succeed are the ones who simply quit. This is a game of longevity. This is a game of stamina. This is a game of who can stay out there the longest and bear the most rejection, right? And have the most, like, quote unquote, negative things happen in a single day. Getting the cops called on you, maybe you're getting cussed at by some homeowners, right? Maybe sometimes you get kicked out of a private neighborhood if you guys are knocking in the US, right? There's all these things that can happen, which for a lot of salesmen will kind of trigger an emotion or a reaction where they just leave, bro. Like they just leave the day early, and or they go home and they quit, right? And when you guys are on your route, okay, the person who wins is the person who stays out there the longest. That is it. And this goes across all entrepreneurship, all business, all life in general, right? The person who goes to the gym consistent, right, every single day, no matter what, even if they don't train hard, even if they don't, even if they kind of half-ass their workouts, they half-ass their routine, right? Eventually, in the end, they will win because everyone else just quits, right? Even the guys who are going out there, they sell like 2K in a day, 3K in a day, whatever it is, right? Those guys sometimes fall off because they get this quick success. They think it's easy, right? And when things are not going their way, they're like, oh, it's a bad route, and then they reroute. Oh, this is a bad route, reroute. Oh, no, this is not my day, I go home, right? Oh, like my worker's late. Oh, the tank needs a filter change. Oh, I just leave. Like I'll order it. It'll come in a couple days. I'll knock that, whatever, right? And so when I'm on my run, and I'll relate this all the way back because the whole point of this video is getting you guys to understand that this is a process, and throughout this journey, right, you have to be willing to understand it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be this straight path towards success, right? Similar to a run in Tulum, right? There's going to be trees in the middle of the sidewalk. There's going to be these bushes that come out and like completely disrupt your path, where you have to change, where you're running, right? Sometimes you got to run on the sidewalk, then you got to change to run on the road for a bit. And sometimes it goes around a bend where there could be cars coming, or motos, which is like the scooter here, coming around the bend super quick. You got to be willing to kind of stay to the side and adjust and adapt to stay safe, right? But the whole point of this video is we are always moving forward. We are always moving forward. We're never stationary, and we sure as hell are never going backwards, right? Now, during this path, right, there's like, I'll relate it to running, and then I'll go into how this relates to door to door, right? When I'm running, okay, my feet hurt, right? Sometimes I'm not motivated. Sometimes I'm out of breath. My muscles hurt, right? And there's all these things happening at the same time of me running on a path where there's trees in the middle of the sidewalk. There's these bushes coming out of nowhere. There's cars flying past me, right? The road not only goes up and down, but sometimes it goes side to side. It twists a little bit, right? And I got to go around these bends. There's these really big, I forget what they're called. It's like a cul-de-sac, but it kind of like a roundabout, right? I got to go around the roundabout. All these things happening, right? And what's really interesting is the person who succeeds, let's say gets in the best shape, the person who has the six-pack abs, whatever it is, right? They're simply willing to just continue pushing forward. 99% of people will quit because it's too hard, because there's too much going on, but the people who win are the people who just continue running. Now, you can slow down a little bit, right? You can slow down, you can pace yourself, catch your breath a little bit, right? But the point is that we are always moving forward. We are always moving the ball forward. We are never sitting still. We never stop running, right? Worst case scenario is we walk, right? We walk, but we're continually moving forward, right? We are never stationary, because stationary is basically the same as going backwards at the end of the day, right? We are always moving forward despite all these things going on, okay? Now, going back into door to door, right? When you're on your route, when you're knocking, there's going to be days, there's going to be times where you don't sell for a couple hours. There's going to be times where you knock for half the day, you're getting a lot of rejection on the door, you're getting a lot of people are like cussing at you, you can't even get the walk around, you can't give prices out, it might seem like everything's just not going your way, right? And the key to being in this situation, the key to succeeding in this game, is understanding this is a process, and this is part of what you need to go through in order to succeed, right? This is what is required for you to succeed. And there's something Alex Ramosi says, and I like to reference him a lot because I think a lot of things he says as I'm speaking. I don't remember how it goes exactly, but he says the person who can bear the most stress, the most anxiety, the most bullshit, right, and then go back into what they're supposed to be doing, that is the whole point of like success, or like getting back into what you're doing as quick as possible is the whole point of success, something like that. I can't remember how it goes. But if you are capable of enduring, right? All the things that can happen in a day, right? Whether you're knocking on the doors or you're not, I'm gonna focus this towards not door to door because this will help you guys a ton. Is the person who can endure the most when they're out there on the doors and still continue to push forward, to talk to more people, right? You guys will be killers, and you're not only going to make a little bit amount of money, right? You guys will make thousands of dollars, right? You guys will be rich because you understand this is a process. This is not something where you go out there, you succeed, yes or no. No, it's not like that, right? The person who can stay at the door, again, this is, the whole day is one thing, but staying at the door between each sale is another. But the principle still stays the same, right? The person who can stay out there, talk to as many people as possible throughout the day, but also the person who can stay at the door the longest will make the most amount of sales. 99% of salesmen cannot sell as much as they want or do not sell as much as they want because they leave the door too early, right? They feel like they're trying to sell the homeowner, right? They feel like they're trying to take something from the homeowner. But when you really get good at sales, you understand that sales is about bringing the homeowner to a decision that ultimately benefits them. Now, the point of this video is not directed at sales. It's more directed at a mentality thing I want you guys to think about, and a whole point of just willpower. You need to will yourself out of this. This is not supposed to be easy. Okay, this is not supposed to be something where, oh, I implement this tomorrow and I'm just like miraculously making more money. Like, no, this takes time. This takes time, effort, and energy, and this is something that you need to brainwash yourself to thinking that it is a good thing, which is a completely another topic. But if you guys are out there and you want to give up, right, you want to quit, you're not motivated, you're tired, you're getting rejection, whatever, understand this is the game that we are in. This is the game that you signed up for, and this is what is required for you to win. Okay, this is what you need to go through. This is why hard is hard, right? And this is why most people quit. It's simple as that. And if you can continually push forward, no matter what, right, you can do what is required longer than most people, there is no other option than for you to succeed. And another thing I want to talk about is losers will put in the most bare minimum amount of effort and feel like they should get the most from it. They're so focused on the output. Oh, like making the money, making the sale, getting to 2K. They're so focused on the outcome, where winners are focused on the input, and they're, more importantly, they make it so incredibly impossible and unreasonable that they do not succeed, right? Winners put in the maximum amount of effort, the most the everything they can do from top to bottom, to studying all the modules, right? Studying their script, practicing, knocking all day, talking to as many homeowners as possible. Winners will make it impossible for them not to succeed. And you guys need to be in that state. You guys need to get to a place where we're not putting in the bare minimum amount of effort like most 99% of people. We're not knocking a couple doors and, oh, it's a good row, okay. Oh, it's a bad row, okay. We're not coming to that conclusion. We are focused on just knocking doors, talking to people, being in a good mood, and continually moving the ball forward, and we do not give up. We continue pushing forward. That is the whole point of this video. There's going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be things that happen on the doors, but the point is that we are continually moving forward, because that will get us way closer to our goals, especially in the long run, than it ever will, especially in the short run, even if you're not seeing the results right away. Okay, the effort and time and energy that you put in now, you're going to see the results from that, maybe even a week or a couple weeks, maybe even a month. Sometimes if you're, if we relate this back to the gym, you don't see the effort and the output, you don't see the result of the work you put in after sometimes even a couple months, bro. If you guys have been in the gym long enough, right, some of you guys might, you might hit like a plateau, right? If you guys are just starting the gym, right, go lift some heavy weight, eat some food, right, you'll grow, right, newbie gains. But for some of you guys who've been in the gym a long time, right, it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to, continually put this work in day after day. But it takes even more time to see the result of your physique, right? To be like, oh damn, like I actually look different, because you see yourself every day, right? So you're not going to notice it. But if you look at pictures from you, maybe a couple of months ago, maybe even a couple of weeks ago, you'd be like, oh damn, I got a little bigger, right? I see progress. So anyway, guys, when you guys are out there on the doors, understand this is a process. This is not an event of something. You go out there, you succeed, you fail. No. You need to be out there constantly pushing the ball forward, moving forward always, because the second that you are stationary, the second that it becomes a lot easier to quit. And And the last thing I want to instill in you guys is this mentality of it is okay to quit. It is not okay to be a quitter, right? It's not okay. The last thing I want you guys to do is to stop and be like, okay, this is not my day, or this is not my route, or this is like, this is not made for me. No, no, no. It's made for anyone who puts in 100% of their time, effort, and energy. You can succeed, but you have to be willing to continually push forward, even when it's hard, even when it's difficult, even when you have no motivation, you're tired, you want to go home. You have to be willing to stay out there and continually push forward. So, anyway, boys, hope this video helped you guys, and I will see you in the next one.